welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. I have moved my room around since my last video. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe it looks the same because my bed is still behind me like it was before, but it's different. So today's video is going to be a first impressions video. I've actually brought for the most part, full face of Morphe makeup. There's a few things missing, but we'll get to that throughout the video. So I did a big order off their UK website. So I've got foundation, powder, concealer, eyebrows, a new mascara, and a few other bits and bobs. So we're going to test this out today. I feel like Morphe is kind of, I don't know, is it a controversial brand? Maybe. I feel like it's mostly controversial just because of the people that they collab with. They don't do it as much nowadays, but it used to be like you'd watch so many YouTubers and it'd be like, use my Morphe code, blah blah blah. But I feel like they maybe calm down with that a little bit nowadays. But I am very interested to see what the products are like. I have tried a few Morphe products before, so I do have some experience with the brand. So I tried an eyeliner pencil from them, I tried a highlighter, but it arrived smashed. I tried an eyeshadow palette from them before. I've tried a few things from them, but I feel like we have pretty much a full face now. So let's just get started. So the first thing that I'm going to try out is their concealer. So this is their Fluidity Full Coverage Concealer. I got it in the shade C1.25. So this was the lightest shade with a neutral undertone that they had. I was going to get the one with the warmer undertone, but it was out of stock, but I figured a neutral one should work okay as well. Generally I go for more warmer things. They have got a pretty decent shade range when it comes to their base products. So foundation in particular had like, I think it had like over 50 shades. The concealer had like a little bit less, but it was still pretty decent. I think this might be a little bit pale for me, possibly, so it probably will be more of a brightening shade. I just want to test this out on my eye area and bare skin just so I can see what the coverage is like on its own, see what it can do for my bags and my veins. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on one under eye and eyelid, and then you can see them side by side. Shade's pretty decent, I think. Okay, so that's them side by side. I think, as you can see, that has covered pretty damn good, actually. I'm pretty impressed with that. Let me just look up and down. Yeah, it's blocked out my veins pretty good. It's covered up that bag pretty good. That is actually very impressive coverage. It is more on the like drier side, but I kind of expected that because I have heard that the base products from Morphe are more of like matte finish. I feel like I'd prefer how that looks over foundation just because I can see it kind of going a little bit crepey under the eyes, but it's nothing like too bad. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that actually. That is pretty damn good coverage. So I'm going to put some of this on my other eyelid. I'm going to wipe it off my under eye and just make a base for eyeshadow. I don't have a new eyeshadow palette from them to try out because I really don't need any more eyeshadow palettes in my collection at the moment. But I have got an eyeshadow palette from Morphe that I've tried like a year ago. It's this one here. It's the 35M palette. So I think I will do an eyeshadow look with it, just, you know, to keep this video kind of all Morphe. I've obviously spoken about that palette before. I've got a first impressions and I've got an updated review on it. So I'll put cards up for those videos where I don't feel like I really need to show me putting this eyeshadow on camera. So yeah, I will be back with some eyeshadow on. Okay, so we're back with some very basic smoky eye makeup. I didn't show you the inside of the palette, by the way. This is it. You probably know about it if you've heard of the 35M palette from Morphe. Next, I'm very excited to give this a go. So this is their new mascara. It's their Make It Big volumizing mascara. I think they have like a waterproof version as well, but I'm not a big fan of waterproof mascara, so I just got the original one. I've seen some good reviews of this guy, so I'm very excited to see if it gives me some big volumized lashes. Packaging's very sleek. It's got a sort of hourglass wand. Let's just go ahead and chuck this on my top eyelashes. Okay, so that's what the eyelashes look like. I think it's done a pretty good job actually. I feel like it did take quite a while to build it up. It might just because it's obviously new. Sometimes when mascaras dry out a little bit, they get a little bit easier to apply, and sometimes they get better in quality as well. I feel like that's done a pretty good job. I'm pretty impressed with it. There's definitely some thickness, some good volume there. They're quite dramatic. Not completely like blown away, knocked off of my feet. Wow, this mascara, oh my god. But I think this could grow on me a lot, and I'm impressed with it overall. Okay, so moving on to base, we're going to be trying out the Morphe Fluidity Full Coverage Foundation. I think this came out like probably over a year ago now, and I remember when this came out, all of the reviews, like majority of them were quite negative. A lot of people really didn't like this. I feel like I did see a few positive ones sprinkled within there, but for the most part, I seem to remember a lot of people saying it was just like really dry and just not flattering on the skin. The thing is, we all have different like preferences and different skin types, and you know, things that we prefer from our foundations. I'm personally all about a matte foundation, so obviously this came out over a year ago now, so it is possible that they may have reformulated it since then. A lot of brands will like reformulate things, but like they won't sort of publicize it. They'll just kind of do it kind of under the radar, so it is possible that they've done that. I picked it up in 2 shades because it was on sale. I think it's originally about £14, but I got it on sale for about £7, so I thought I'd try 2 shades just because there was a lot to choose from there, and you know, there was a chance that I'd get it wrong. But I got 1.20 and I got 1.40, so they're basically the lightest warm tone shades. So I'll do a little swatch. On my face. So this is 1.20. Yeah, that might be a little pale for me, but it's good. The undertones look good. Yeah, it's a very fair shade. And then that's 1.40. Yeah, that one's very warm toned and would probably be a bit dark for me. I feel like my perfect shade would actually be both of those mixed together probably, because this looks like it might be too light and that looks like it'd be a little bit too dark. So I think I'll just mix them together, and hopefully, in theory, that should be a good shade match. Okay, so I've mixed both shades together. So I'm just going to use my sponge and apply this all over my face. Okay, so that's the foundation applied. I built it up a little bit. I actually think it looks pretty damn nice on the skin. I don't feel like it really looks bad at all. It's got like a nice, it's definitely a very matte finish. I don't feel like it looks overly dry, to be honest. Like, I'm not looking at it and thinking, oh, flakiness, dry patches, all that stuff. It looks nice. It's got a nice finish. I feel like it's quite pore minimizing, which is something that I really look for in foundations. It's like not emphasizing my pores like at all, which is generally why I prefer a matte foundation anyway. I don't feel like it's totally covered my blemishes. I have got quite problematic skin at the moment. I feel like it could be slightly more full coverage, but it's like a solid medium buildable coverage, which is fine. Generally that's what I prefer, but because my skin has been like extra problematic lately because of masks, I feel like I do look for a little bit more coverage nowadays, but generally I do prefer the level of coverage that this foundation gives. I think it looks pretty nice actually. What's all the hate about? It looks nice. I think it looks nice, and I don't even think like it looks heavy at all. I think it looks quite natural. From first impressions, I like it. I think it looks pretty nice on my skin. Obviously we'll have to see what the wear is like and stuff. I will speak about all of these products in an updated makeup review, and I'll probably use them in a few like rotation get ready with me and stuff. So we're gonna go back to our concealer now. I think this is gonna be lighter. Yeah, it's not dramatically lighter, but it's a bit lighter than the foundation we've got on. But I'm gonna just pop this under my eyes and on all of my blemishes. Yeah, that concealer has applied pretty nicely. It's added coverage. Nothing seems to want to be covering these little spots I have here right now, but I'm not mad because literally the majority of base products I'm using right now are not covering some of my blemishes. Honestly feel like a teenager again, not going to lie. It is definitely a very matte base. If you have dry skin, you probably wouldn't like it, but if you're like me and you prefer a matte finish, if you've got oilier skin, honestly, I think these are good base products. We'll have to test the wear to see how it sets down, but I like this base so far. I do actually have a setting powder from them. This is a pressed powder. It's their Filter Effect finishing powder, and I got it in the shade number 2. Number 1 was literally like a white translucent one. This is the lightest one that comes in like a skin tone colour. So the shade looks like this. It does look very fair, which I was apprehensive about. I didn't know if it would be too light. A lot of the lighter shades of like skin tone powders tend to be like very orangey, but it looks good. But we'll see how it translates onto the face. Generally nowadays I do prefer to use loose powders under the eyes, and then I'll use pressed powders to do the outer parts of the face, but occasionally I will use pressed powders under the eyes as well. Sometimes they do work alright under the eyes, other times I'm like, nah, I need a loose powder. But we're going to test it out all over today. So I'm just going to use this little guy to do my under eyes, and then I'm going to use my usual big brush to do the rest of my face. Okay, so I've mattified my whole face down with that powder, and I think the finish is really nice. I feel like it's very pore minimizing. It just has quite a flawless looking finish. The only area I'm not loving right now is my under eyes. I do feel like it looks a little bit grapey and heavy under there. It's not separated or anything, which is good, but I feel like it's kind of just a combination of all the base products. Yeah, I think it's just a combination of everything, but under the eyes it is like a little bit heavy and grapey, but it doesn't look terrible. And I feel like once I put like eyeshadow on under there and stuff, it'll look okay. But I feel like overall, yeah, that powder definitely has a really nice finish. The shade works pretty good for pale skin. I feel like overall the base is looking pretty flawless. Yeah, I'm liking it. Okay, so moving on to cheeks now. I have got a bronzer from them. This is their Glamour Bronze Face and Body Bronzer, and it's in the light shade Mastermind, and it is massive. This was probably like the most expensive thing on the website that I brought, and kind of seeing the size of it, I'm like, okay, well that kind of makes sense now. It is massive. That's what the shade looks like. I got it in the lightest shade. I feel like looking at it, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to see how it translates onto the face, but yeah, a lot of product. If you bought this bronzer and you got a lot with it, I feel like you'd never run out of it, because it is like, it's like almost the size of my face. It's so big. Yeah, I think they had about 8 shades or so, which I thought was a pretty like decent selection, which is pretty decent for bronzers. I feel like a lot of brands kind of neglect to their shade ranges when it comes to bronzers, so 8 isn't too bad. Obviously I can't speak for how deep it goes, but we'll see how well this shade works for pale skin. So I'm just using a big floofy brush, and I'm gonna pop some of this in my cheeks and on my forehead, a little bit on my nose. Okay, I actually really like that. I feel like the shade definitely does work. It seems a bit more like yellow caramelly, which I personally really like that sort of undertone in a bronzer. It came out quite subtle, quite buildable. I am going to just blend that out a little bit. Yeah, it didn't come out like too harsh or too pigmented. I actually think that's quite nice. I know that I'm never going to run out of it, that's for sure. So yeah, I would say that this does work for pale skin. I feel like it hasn't come out too like muddy, too orangey. I feel like it's worked pretty well, which I was a bit apprehensive about. So yeah, and the formula is pretty good too. Still do think it is like a little bit overpriced, but I guess it's kind of just based on how big it is maybe that it's that expensive. It was about like 17 or 19 pounds, I think. I don't have a blush or a highlight from them. I did buy a highlight from them a couple months ago. I have spoken about it in a first impressions and an updated makeup review. But when I got it, it arrived smashed, so I could only really use it in a loose format, and it was a very like intense yellow colour. I don't know, it's just a little bit too intense for shade of it for me, but I think the formula bit was pretty decent. So I'm just going to whack on a little bit of my Beauty Bay highlighter. This is lovely, I totally recommend it. Okay, so moving on to brows, I have got a tinted brow gel and a micro brow pencil from them. So I'm going to start with the gel. So this is their Brow Crush Tinted Brow Gel, and I got mine in the shade Deep Brown. Packaging looks like this. It has a very small wand, which I personally really like. The smaller the wand, the better in my opinion. It looks like a very like sort of cool toned dark brown colour. I'm just going to tap off the excess. There is a fair amount of excess. It's not too bad. I've had a lot worse when it comes to excess with brow products, but let's just brush this through my brows. Okay, I think that's actually worked pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with that. It's come out fairly natural. It doesn't seem too splodgy, too thick. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm very picky when it comes to eyebrow gels. So from first impressions, I'm quite liking that. I definitely feel like I do need a micro brow pencil with it though, just to kind of just give that arch a bit more structure. So this is a micro brow pencil and it's in the shade Cold Brew. It's your fairly standard micro brow format. You got your pencil on one end and your spoolie on the other. So I'm just going to use this to add a little bit more structure to these eyebrows. Okay, that brow pencil's also done a pretty decent job. I think the brows are pretty decent overall. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the bottom of my eyes, and then I have a setting spray and a lipstick to try out. Okay, so we're back with finished eyes. So the next thing I'm going to try out is a lipstick. So this is their Mega Matte lipstick and it's in the shade Boy Toy. Packaging looks like this, pale brown nude shade, because that's what I like. So I'm just going to apply this to my lips. It's an incredibly pale colour, but I kind of feel like it kind of works with the eyeshadow. It's incredibly matte, but like at the same time it kind of feels like it's not even on my lips. But like obviously you can see that it is on my lips, but it feels like it's not there. But it's definitely very, very, very matte. It's bordering on like a little bit too dry. But then at the same time, I'm like, I can't really feel it there, so is it really that much of a problem? I feel like I probably would want to like layer this with something, even if it's just putting a lip liner on or something under it. But I actually kind of like how it looks with the like smoky eye. It's definitely quite dry. I can see it sort of settling into the lines of my lips. So I feel like I'd want something underneath it just for that reason. So yeah, I'm kind of not sure how I feel about that one. I do like the shade though. Okay, so lastly, I did pick up a setting spray from them. So this is their Luminous setting spray. I have tried the continuous setting mist as well. This is kind of starting to run out now, and I did quite like it. I wanted to give a more glowy one a go. Okay, so I'm just going to spray this all over my face. First of all, it smells amazing. I definitely feel like I can see the glow that's left in my skin. Like I feel like it's just made my highlighter like way more shiny than it was before. I kind of just want to put more on, you know. I actually quite like that setting spray. I definitely feel like I can see the dew, so you know, mission accomplished. Okay, so that's everything. So I'm just going to do something with my hair and then I will summarize my thoughts and everything we've tried. Okay, so we're back with the finished look. I have to say overall, very, very, very impressed with everything that we've tried today. Let's just go through it all. The mascara, I feel like it's got pretty damn good volume, a lot of thickness. I'm very impressed with it. It did take a little bit of building to get there, and I feel like it probably will get a little bit better once it's dried up slightly. But yeah, I'm overall pretty impressed with the mascara. Pretty impressed with the foundation. I feel like the finish is really like nice. It's very pore minimizing, very natural. I kind of expected it to be quite cakey and heavy, but if anything, I feel like it actually looked quite natural on the skin. It didn't look like I was wearing like a really heavy foundation or anything. It is definitely a very matte finish, so again, I feel like if you've got dry skin, you might not like it. Personally, I thought it was pretty nice. Concealer, again, very good coverage. It is again more on the matte side. Good coverage. I feel like it blended out nicely. Again, it is more on the matter, more on the drier side, but I feel like it performed well. The setting powder has a very nice velvety texture. I feel like it looks pretty smooth on the face. I wouldn't say like it added any additional coverage, but that's okay. That's not essential for me. But overall, I think it had a nice finish. Maybe not the biggest fan of it under the eyes. It was looking a bit crepey under there. I feel like I'd rather use a loose powder under the eyes. But for like the rest of the face, I feel like it was a really nice setting powder. Really like the bronzer. I feel like it's just giving me like a really sort of golden kind of chiseled look. Really nice like buildable subtle formula. I feel like the shade actually did work really well for my pale skin, which is good. I think the eyebrow gel worked really well. It's fairly natural looking, not too thick, not too splodgy. A little bit of excess on the wand, but nothing too bad. I will have to try that micro brow pencil out just on its own, but I think it worked pretty well just to give more definition to the brows. Setting spray I really liked. The only thing I'm a little bit unsure about is the lipstick, just because it is very, very, very dry, which usually I'm a big fan of a matte bullet lipstick. I just love it. I hate it when you get a matte bullet lipstick and then it's like still shiny. That just really bothers me, but I feel like this is kind of pushing it a bit for dryness to the point where it's just like I can see like all of the cracks in my lips. So I feel like I'd probably like this with something underneath it, But on its own, I don't know, I feel like it's just a bit too dry, a bit too scaly looking, but I love the shade. I love the pale nude shade. Overall, I'm actually like really quite enjoying everything. The only thing I wasn't so sure about was the lipstick. All of these products will be in an updated makeup review. There will probably be a February/March makeup review. So that updated review will probably be out in the spring at some point. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in my next one. Goodbye.